Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to this week's Mental Monday. So this week, I want to talk about something that has a lot to do with what's been going on in life for me right now. And I also think it's connected to kind of the overall theme that I've kind of had with the Mental Monday videos, at least the ones where I'm not specifically pointing towards a mental disorder that I'm looking further into, but just enjoying where you're at. And I know I've touched on this in different ways in the past, and I kind of want to look at it in a recovering or healing mentally perspective, looking at it from a vantage point of trying to get mentally healthier, trying to figure out things with a mental disorder, things like that you're trying to heal from, and being able to embrace where you're at in that process and really be present in that time in that process. And being okay with where you're at in that process, not demanding you be further than you are, and really being able to gain everything you can from where you are healing wise. So I've got my coffee in a Christmas mug and we're gonna talk about it. I think the biggest thing this connects to for me and stuff that I've worked on is codependency. I did a whole series talking about codependency and sharing my own experience, which is very connected to me also sharing about burnout and overwhelm. And you guys know how easily I do that to myself. But I feel like that's all connected because I have really had to learn how to be okay with where I'm at in that. Whether it's acknowledging the progress I've made instead of downgrading it, whether it's being okay with not making huge leaps and bounds and just accepting where I'm at, giving myself grace in the meantime and being gentle and forgiving with myself while I'm working through it, and also keeping perspective on what my end goal is and the reason I'm trying to heal from it. So it can twist the process if your reason why is to look better or to be a better person rather than to be healthier. And I think that applies to any form of health you're working on, whether it's mental, spiritual, physical. With diet, you really have to look at it as my goal is healthy. My goal is not based on the number on the scale. And I think all of that is so connected in your mindset and how you approach healing and how you approach getting healthier. So for healing from something like codependency, the goal can't be to stop doing what I'm doing. The goal has to be to have healthier relationships, to have healthier boundaries, to be healthier mentally myself. And I think you yourself have to be that motivation rather than doing it for somebody else. And that goes for any mental disorder you're healing from, especially things that are in some fashion connected to addiction, which in my perspective is a huge chunk of mental struggles. Codependency, it's addiction to relationships, it's addiction to pleasing people, it's addiction to what other people think of you or the expectations they're putting on you, and an obsession with meeting that. And for a substance use addiction, it's kind of the same mindset you have to have. You have to do it to be healthier. You can't do it from I'm gonna just grit my teeth and stop using. I'm just gonna do it, because that's setting yourself up to fail, because you're not addressing why you started in the first place. And you can't do it for somebody else. You can't do it to make somebody else happy, because that is not sustainable motivation that will keep your mindset on the goal. That's also not a healthy reason to do it, because then you're caught up in if that person thinks you achieved that goal. And that's a whole other little trail that's connected to it, is not basing your progress on what those around you think your progress is, and really being able to tune into yourself. Not completely tune out other people's thoughts, but not have that be what all of it hangs on. So yes, you can take what they say into consideration. Yes, you can take their perspective into consideration. They care about you. They want you healthy just like you want you healthy. It can be a good thing to get that feedback, but you have to be careful, because if you feel like you've made progress, if you are seeing things in yourself that are getting better, whether they see it in your overt behavior or not, doesn't necessarily mean the mental work isn't going somewhere. So I would say yes, behavior is a huge indicator of things, but the mental work can't always be seen. There are transitions that you go through where it's still going to look like the same struggles while you're figuring things out. And I think especially when it's people that are close to you that are emotionally tied, that's going to be more complicated. So absolutely take their perspective into consideration, but don't have that be all you're basing it on. Don't be so consumed with if they think you're better that you deny what you're feeling get better in yourself. And that's a balance to find. So I think some of the best ways to really focus on just a healthier you is to set goals, but not set goals in a I have failed if I don't achieve this way, and not approach it from that mindset. Set goals, set priorities, set things that you personally care the most about as far as what you want to work on first, what is most affected that you're most concerned about. Is it your relationships? Is it your body and your health? And do you feel like you're really, really sick? Things like that are going to be really encouraging if you can start out working on that and trickle in the other stuff as it comes. And I think that's important too, to have that mindset of this is what I'm starting with, and not trying to do everything at once, because you're not going to be able to do everything at once. Speaking from personal experience with codependency and burnout, you have to give yourself the room and the time to process in between the major steps. Because if you jump from step to step to step and never look back and see what happened, you aren't processing it, you're just head down doing the work. I think it can be super encouraging to look back and say, no, maybe I didn't reach that goal. I'm not perfect. I didn't get that totally right. However, I made progress. And being able to celebrate each progress, especially in a recovery situation, it's super, super important and really encouraging. And it can really be what holds you through that process to have those steps that you're able to celebrate and say, no, I didn't reach my goal yet, but I have come a long, long way. And that is huge. And that is probably one of the biggest ways I have kept myself going with working through the burnout, with working through my tendencies to overwhelm myself with trying to do too much at once, and codependency and all of that has been acknowledging, no, I do still have work to do for sure, but I'm definitely way better off than when I started looking at this closer and when I really started making goals to get healthier with it. So I think that is probably the major ways I have found that really help me when I've been working through some of this stuff. And I, of course, would love to hear your ideas on things that you have tried, or just things you think might be encouraging and helpful and really help you process it. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was helpful in some way. If you did, give it a thumbs up and share it with everybody. Make sure you are subscribed and have notifications on, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye!